Just let me know if I'm audible. Just write in the chat box who are there. Okay, fine. My throat is a bit bad, but still I'll try to keep myself loud. There is some disturbance from the background. I don't know what to do for that. Nothing can be done. So as I said, it's already on auto admit. So whoever comes, they can join. So they are allowed. So I don't have to come and click over here. So even when I am in the presentation mode, you are in. Okay. So last time somebody raised some issue on that. That's why it changes. Okay, so let me open the file. Where are we? We are here. Okay, so we left semiconductors at this particular point. That was when we tried understanding what is a Fermi function or what is a Fermi distribution. So what we did is we consider an ideal intrinsic semiconductor. And for intrinsic semiconductor, you know, there is a valence band, then there is a conduction band, and the middle portion, the in-between portion, you call as the band gap, right? And now there is one more concept which is known as Fermi energy level. For an intrinsic semiconductor, this Fermi energy level lies at exactly middle of the band gap. Okay. Now, what is this Fermi energy level? What is its importance? Okay. And with that, what all we can understand about the semiconductor? That's what we are going to learn today. Obviously, there will be equations like how we did the derivation last time for interplanar distance in crystallography. There will be equations. So all the notes I have shared. But if you want, you can write along with me. But I may not be. It's not feasible online to see if everybody has written. Okay. Anyway, I'll try to be slow and explain in detail. So Fermi energy level to understand. So as of now, you understand that it is at the middle of the band gap energy for an intrinsic semiconductor. Okay. Now, what is it actually going to tell you? So we are considered an absolute zero Kelvin condition. So at absolute zero Kelvin, semiconductors behave like insulators. So for that reason, what happens? You have all the valence electrons here in the valence band. All the electrons are in the valence band. Nothing has gone to the conduction band. So now, if we have to understand about this movement of electrons when you increase temperature from valence band to conduction band, whenever they move, if you have to understand their movement and how many electrons move and all those things, you need to have some statistical understanding. A bit of maths comes into picture. So Fermi level is like an ideal energy level, okay? At absolute zero Kelvin, I can define that an ideal energy level up to which the electrons can exist in absolute zero Kelvin. So the maximum is a kind of limit. Fermi energy level is putting a limit for electrons to pass through. Pass through the band gap and reach the conduction band. So absolute zero Kelvin, obviously they are not going to pass through, right? So obviously I understand that they are in the valence band, but still let me put a high level or a limit on the energy level up to which the electrons can exist in zero Kelvin, the valence electrons. We are not talking about the valence electrons, okay? So at zero Kelvin, this is the energy level. Now, one more concept which comes into picture is if there is an energy level, so obviously each of the bands are formed of different energy levels. There is obviously an electron, if I say that an electron is existing in an energy level, were in that energy level. Say I trade this one horizontal line, suppose I consider a horizontal energy level here, one energy level here. Where in that energy level is it existing? Which position, which place does it take? That position or wherever it exists, you call it as an energy state. Okay, energy state. So an electron will exist in an energy state in an energy level. Basically, there is a row and then there is a position in which that electron can exist. So that energy level, energy state concept is applicable here and it's applicable here in the connection band also. Everywhere it is applicable. Okay. Now, one more concept which we talked about in the last semiconductor class is this Fermi function or Fermi factor or Fermi distribution. What is it actually telling? So I have put that previous figure which was there, I put it here on the left hand side. Now, what is it showing? This is 0 Kelvin condition. I have my ideal situation where I consider an energy level, hypothetically an energy level or imaginary energy level up to which the electrons can exist in absolute 0 Kelvin. It is not able to move after this particular energy level in 0 Kelvin, right? So, how many or are there electrons really there existing in these energy levels? I request you all to please mute. Are there in any, how many electrons? I cannot count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 100, right? Or thousands or 10,000 or million, whatever. I cannot count just like that. So what do I do is I assign a probability that there is an electron in a particular energy level or in an energy state or in a particular position in an energy level. I assume a probability, I assign a probability, I give a value that, okay, probability in the sense, maybe there is 10% chance that there is an electron, or there is 30% chance that there is an electron, or 50%, 100%. Instead of percentage, if I say it in probability, minimum is 0, that means there is obviously no electrons cannot exist. Maximum is 1, that means 100% chance that there is an electron existing. Okay, now we assign that probability minimum of 0 and maximum of 1. Okay, so that probability, how do we define, is with this function called as Fermi function or Fermi distribution or Fermi factor, all different terms used. F of E. F is obviously small f is the value for probability value at an energy level capital E. So f of E is equal to 1 divided by exponential E minus EF. Okay. F of E, probability at an energy level E is equal to 1 by exponential that energy level minus the Fermi energy level divided by K into T. What is K? K is Boltzmann constant and T is the particular temperature, and then there is a plus 1. This plus 1 is very important. Okay. So 1 divided by exponential E minus EF by KT. E minus EF by KT is in the exponential portion. And then there is a plus 1 which is separate. Plus 1 is not in the exponential. Okay. So this is what is going to give the probability that there is an electron existing at a particular energy level E, given that there is, I know this value of the Fermi energy and the temperature. Boltzmann constant obviously is a known value, 1.38 into 10 power minus 23 joule per Kelvin, or in electron volt per Kelvin it will be like 8.6 into 10 power 5. So you can just work it out, you will be able to get it. Now, so this is absolute 0 Kelvin condition. So absolute 0 Kelvin semiconductors behave as similar to insulators. So what happens if I increase the temperature? So this is what is going to happen when I increase the temperature. I know the ideal situation. What is it? Some valence electrons have to go, they have to leave the valence band and go towards the conduction band. So this, what I have done here is a distribution. So I have taken energy on the y-axis. This is a normal energy which you are considering. Y-axis is the energy. Now I have this line, what it is showing? It is showing the probability. It is showing the probability. 0 is at this lowermost point, at this edge is 0, f of e 0, and 1 is this particular value, the maximum. So 0 to 1 is the condition in absolute 0 Kelvin. But what happens if I increase the temperature? What happens to the probability, or when the electron moves, how does this curve look like? So right now it is like this, anywhere between 0 and 1 in absolute 0 Kelvin. Okay. But when I increase the temperature, some valence electrons move to the conduction band. So for that reason, here, this portion, the curve shifts. It has moved. We'll see it mathematically in the next slide. So some valence electrons have moved. So here it becomes empty. So the curve gets shifted. Where did they move? They move towards the conduction band. So they are moving, they cross the Fermi energy level and they are moving towards the conduction band. So it is like this. I increase the temperature further, more valence electrons have gone. Please keep muted. More valence electrons go from the valence band. So the curve shifts to the left. And what happens this side? So so many electrons have moved from the valence band. They have gone to the conduction band. So here it starts filling up. This portion gets filling up, or this curve gets bent here. So it has shifted. Now let's see this mathematically. So now write down this expression first. F of E is equal to 1 by exponential E minus EF by KT. So this is the entire exponential term. And then plus 1. Okay. Now next what we are going to do is, let's see the same thing what I showed you now with diagram. I am going to now tell you how it happens mathematically. How do I understand it mathematically? So this is the expression. I am going to consider the first case of absolute 0 Kelvin, when temperature is almost 0 Kelvin. Okay. And I have taken, now this is a bit reversed from the previous figure, energy on x-axis and probability on y-axis. So now here you can see 0 to EF. EF is the Fermi energy level. And then 0 to 1 is the probability. Minimum probability 0, maximum probability 1. That is always fixed. 0 to 1. Okay. Now, what I am going to do? I have this expression 1 by exponential E minus EF by KT plus 1. I am going to consider 0 Kelvin, T 0. Okay. T 0 Kelvin. Almost 0 Kelvin. Absolute 0 Kelvin. And with 3 conditions. Case 1, when energy is equal to Fermi energy level, that means exactly this position, when energy is equal to Fermi energy level. Case 2, when energy E less than EF. Case 3, energy greater than EF. Okay. I will do E is equal to EF at the last. I will first do E less than EF. So let's just think of this way. I have T is equal to 0 already here, and E is less than EF. Okay. So what happens? When E is less than EF, E minus EF will be obviously a negative number, right? A negative number. E minus EF is negative. So, but divided by what? K into 0 Kelvin. So anything divided by 0 becomes infinity. So it is negative infinity. So what happens to this expression? So we had 1 by exponential E minus EF by KT plus 1. I am going to consider this condition. Temperature 0 Kelvin, absolute 0 Kelvin. Okay. And then what if E is less than EF? Then E minus EF is a negative number divided by K into 0. So a negative number divided by 0. Negative divided by 0. Any number divided by 0 is infinity. So negative number divided by 0, this becomes negative infinity, minus infinity. You can see it here. E minus EF by KT becomes minus infinity. If E minus EF by KT is minus infinity, then exponential of this portion becomes exponential of minus infinity. E power minus infinity is 0. You need to remember that. E power minus infinity is 0. So it becomes 1 by 0 plus 1, that is 1. That means if energy level E is less than Fermi energy level at absolute 0 temperature, entire probability F of E tends to 1. It becomes 1. How did it happen? E minus EF, E is less than EF, so this entire value becomes a negative number, divided by K, obviously a fixed value, you cannot do anything with it. T is 0 Kelvin, so negative number divided by 0, you will take it as negative infinity or minus infinity. Exponential of minus infinity is 0. You need to remember that exponential of minus infinity is 0. So 1 divided by exponential minus infinity plus 1. So 1 by 0 plus 1, that means 1 by 1 or 1. F of E is 1. Now let's do the other side. What happens? I am going to do E greater than EF. E greater than EF. So if E is greater than EF, E minus EF will be a positive number. It will be a positive number, but obviously divided by K into 0 Kelvin. So a positive number divided by 0 is positive infinity plus infinity. Okay. First condition, when you had E minus EF or E less than EF, E less than EF, it was negative infinity. Now E greater than EF, this entire term becomes plus infinity. E to the power of infinity is infinity. It will give you only a very high number. You keep on doing exponential 1, exponential 2, exponential 3, it keeps on increasing. Same way exponential infinity becomes infinity. So E power infinity becomes infinity. So 1 divided by, what happened to this term? E greater than EF was a positive number, divided by K into 0. So positive number by 0 was infinity. So exponential infinity is infinity. So 1 divided by infinity plus 1. Infinity plus 1 doesn't make any sense. It is infinity. So 1 divided by infinity. That means 0. So when energy greater than EF, when E is greater than EF, this entire F of E becomes 0. Probability becomes 0. The same thing you are seeing here. This red one is a 0 Kelvin condition. Okay, what did we have? This is your EF, your Fermi energy level. And we said any energy level less than EF, probability F of E becomes 1. So here it is 1. Below EF is this red line, it is 1. Above EF, F of E becomes 0. So obviously it became 0 here, right? Now what happens at E equal to EF? Very difficult situation. A very difficult situation here. E equal to EF, right? But divided by K into 0 Kelvin. When E is equal to EF, this is 0 divided by K into 0. So 0 by 0, we will say it as undefined. It's not, it's indefinite. It's undefined. You will not be able to give a value 0 by 0. It's not 0, it's 0 by 0 is undefined. So this entire thing is undefined, or another way I will say, when energy is equal to Fermi energy level, at this value, that is why this straight line here, you see here, probability can be between any value between 0 and 1. That is why it has become like this. Okay. When E is equal to EF, your entire that exponential, that this factor becomes 0 by 0. 0 by 0 is an undefined value. Okay. So for that reason, you will end up saying that at E is equal to EF, this portion probability can be anywhere between 0 and 1. Okay, anywhere between 0 and 1. Now next, what happens if I increase the temperature? The same thing we said pictorially earlier. It was shifting, right? How does this shifting happen when I increase the temperature? So the same condition, the only difference is temperature greater than 0 Kelvin. Okay. So for that, what I am going to do is, I'll first take E is equal to EF. First condition, E is equal to EF for temperature, any temperature greater than 0 Kelvin. So obviously this denominator is there is some value, right? It's not 0 like earlier. It's more than 0 Kelvin. So there is obviously some value here. So E is equal to EF. E is equal to EF, 0, right? 0 divided by some value, K into T, whatever is that T. Okay. So 0 divided by some value, 0. So exponential of 0 is 1. E to the power of 0 is 1. Okay. So, and let me just repeat, I am now considering situations like this where the temperature is more than 0 Kelvin. So if temperature is more than 0 Kelvin, this denominator K into T is obviously a constant, it's a value is there. There is an existing value. Let me take E is equal to EF. First condition, E is equal to EF. Okay. So what happens when E is equal to EF? This portion is 0, but 0 divided by some value. K into T, now there is a value. So 0 divided by some value is 0. An exponential of 0 is 1. So what do I get? F of E is 1 divided by 1 plus 1. That is 1 by 2. Or F of E becomes 0 0.5. 0.5. So that means when E is equal to EF, as the temperature is going to increase, probability is at 0.5. This is your 0.5 line. This is the line, dotted line. This is 0.5, this value. Okay. E is equal to EF at a higher temperature, probability is 0.5. Now, what happens in the other two cases? When E less than EF, again like earlier, E minus EF is a negative number, but now it's a negative number divided by some constant K into T. Now, temperature is more than 0 Kelvin. Any value more than 0 Kelvin means K into T is some constant. There is a value, right? So, E minus EF, a negative number divided by KT. A negative number divided by KT. I will consider in this way that this is a large negative number. It's like a large negative number. So if I apply the same concept, what happened here? What you are going to get is, here it was negative infinity, here it is not infinity, it's just a large negative number. Basically, what happens is, when E less than EF, you can see it here, see this blue curve, temperature 1, T1, the blue curve. It started from 0.5, okay, it started from 0.5 probability and it goes till 1. That means it tends to 1. As I decrease the energy, this is less energy, this is high energy. As I decrease, or when energy is below Fermi energy level, probability starts from 0 and tends to 1. It goes towards 1. The other way, if I do energy greater than EF, this portion, earlier I had energy greater than EF was 0, right? But here what happens? Energy greater than EF, E minus EF, obviously a large positive number, divided by K into T. T is a fixed value now. So this entire thing is a large positive number. So if I apply this concept, what I did earlier, that instead of a large, here it was infinity, now this is a large positive number. So basically what I'm going to say is, from 0.5, when I increase the energy above Fermi energy level, from 0.5, you see this blue dot line, from 0.5, it tends to 0. This shifting down to 0, it's coming down to 0. It is exponential, the function is exponential, that is the reason it is looking like a curve. Okay. So from 0.5, it shifts to 0. Okay. Another temperature T2, what happened? More electrons have moved, if I apply the concept as I understand earlier, but it starts from 0.5, increases to 1 if energy is less than Fermi energy level, E is less than EF, but if E is greater than EF, it decreases to 0. It tends to 0 or decreases to 0. So this is about Fermi energy level and the conditions when our temperature is at 0 Kelvin or above 0 Kelvin. How does the probability vary? How does this function f of E vary? Anywhere between 0 and 1, right? How does it do? When you increase the temperature, how does it vary? Okay. Now, you have this formula, f of E is equal to 1 by exponential E minus EF by KT plus 1. Next, what we are going to do is this. When I have a higher temperature, right, I get all free electrons here in the conduction band. My next task is to find how many electrons exist in this conduction band. How many electrons exist in the conduction band? Okay. Please listen when I am taking. It's a long derivation. It's not easy to repeat 100 times. I already repeated. Think a bit. Think a bit. I've gone very slow. Think a bit, please. Please think. Spoon feeding is not possible. You have to just think. If you have understood the first case of 0 Kelvin, then obviously higher temperature also you will understand. Everything cannot be fed. Everything is not a donut or a hot chocolate or whatever you get for free. It's time to think. Nothing more to say. Now what we are going to, let me focus on this. We are going to find the number of electrons, number of free electrons which are there in this conduction band. Okay. I will call it as electron density or concentration of electrons. For that, I need to open another file. So let me, where is it? Okay, so now I'll be in full screen mode. So I think the presentation is up. Please just write yes or no in the chat box. Can you see this page? Yes. Okay. Now I'm going for full screen mode. Okay, I will be in full screen mode. I won't be able to see whatever you are writing, else it will be difficult to follow this thing. All right. So next, what we understood is total number of electrons existing, or how many electrons are there, or how many free electrons are there in a particular unit volume of semiconductor, the semiconductor which I have considered. I'll call it as electron concentration or electron density or density of electrons. Similarly, if I study with respect to the holes which are there in the valence band, that means total number of holes per unit volume of the semiconductor, I will call it as hole concentration. Overall, I will say charge carrier concentration or carrier concentration. Okay. Now, next job is to find the total number of free electrons in a unit volume or the electron concentration in an intrinsic semiconductor. So, what we are going to do is a derivation of expression for electron concentration. That means how many free electrons are there in the conduction band in an intrinsic semiconductor. Okay. For that, we start with this concept that if I consider the conduction band, okay, and I take an energy interval. So there are so many energy levels, right? There are so many energy levels, E1, E2, E3, E4, whatever it is. So many energy levels in the conduction band. I'm going to take a small energy interval dE, like how you take dx, small distance, the same way. Small energy interval dE between E and E plus dE in the conduction band. This is what I'm going to consider. A small energy interval dE. Now, the number of electrons in the conduction band within the small energy interval dE is given by this expression. Dn, because it's a small energy interval dE in a conduction band. So, small amount of electrons only I'm going to get. Okay. So, how do I find it? There is something called as Z of E dE. Z of E dE into F of E. What is E? Obviously an energy level. Okay, at any energy level. F of E you already studied now, that is this Fermi function 1 by exponential E minus En by kT plus 1, right? So F of E is your Fermi function, that is a probability value. Probability of the electron. What is this Z of E dE? This is a new concept coming into picture. So let's, Z of E is called the density of states. How do I understand this? What did we say? Within a band, there are multiple energy levels. In one energy level, there are different energy states. What is an energy state? Energy state is a place. That's the easier way to say, the place where an electron sits, or a position where the electron occupy. The position where electron occupy. Energy state. I have one energy level. Suppose there are 3 energy states. So then Z of E is 3 for that energy level. If you consider a class in which you have several rows of chairs, each chair is a position for a student to sit. Suppose I have a row in which there are only 3 chairs available for a student to sit, then those 3 chairs is the total number of chairs available, right? In a similar way, there are different positions available for an electron to sit in an energy level, okay, or different energy states. So total energy states available is Z of E. I put the dE, Z of E into dE only because I am considering a small energy interval dE. Okay. So density of states is the total number of energy states available for an electron to occupy, Z of E, into dE. dE is the small energy interval. And then F of E, that is your Fermi function. F of E is the probability of occupation for the electron. Okay, you can just ignore this statement, not required. Z of E is the density of states, that means total number of positions available for the electron to occupy. dE is the energy interval, and then F of E is the probability for an electron to occupy that particular energy state. So if I multiply this entire product, density of states, energy interval, and F of E, the probability, I will get the number of electrons in this energy interval dE. Okay, that's what we are going to do. Now, what is the expression? F of E, you already know, 1 by exponential E minus EF by kT plus 1. But Z of E is given by this. Z of E into dE is this particular expression. This you need to learn. You don't need to know the derivation of this one. You only need to know this expression. What is this expression? Z of E dE, density of states, is given by 4 pi by h cube, where h is Planck's constant, pi obviously the value 3.14, into 2 me star raised to 3 by 2. What is me star? Me star is the effective mass of electron. What does it mean? You know the rest mass of electron, that is 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 kilogram. That is when it is at rest. Effective mass is when the electron is moving, when there is a movement, when the electron is moving. Obviously, with free electron means it is moving in the conduction band, right? So the mass, there will be a slight difference in the mass of the electron. So that is known as effective mass, Me star. So 2 Me star raised to 3 by 2 into square root of E, or E to the power of 1 by 2 dE. This is the expression. You need to remember this. Z of E dE is equal to 4 pi by h cube to 2 Me star raised to 3 by 2 into E to the power of half into dE. Okay. Now, h, I said, is the Planck's constant. I'm going to rewrite this a bit. How am I doing this? We are considering now free electrons in the conduction band. Okay. So lowest level of conduction band, I will denote that energy as EC. EC. Lowest level of conduction band is EC. Okay. So if an electron is existing in the lowest level of conduction band, if a free electron is existing in the lowest level of conduction band, then its potential energy will be EC. Okay, potential energy will be EC. Let me repeat this. So density of states is given by this expression. Z of E into dE is 4 pi by h cube, 2 Me star raised to 3 by 2, square root of E dE. dE obviously is required because we are doing within an energy interval. E is that particular energy, Z of E, right? Like how we do F of E, the same way Z of E, that one particular energy level. Now what I am going to do next is, I am going to consider the lowest level of conduction band. Lowest level of conduction band, I will denote as energy level EC. E and suffix C, EC. Okay, EC. So if an electron is existing in that energy level, EC, free electron is there in that energy level, then its potential energy is EC. If potential energy I know, then kinetic energy I can find if just by taking a difference from the total energy. So kinetic energy of the electron will be E, total energy E minus EC. E minus EC. Potential energy of the electron at the lowest level of conduction band is equal to the connection band energy level, that is EC. So kinetic energy is total energy minus potential energy. So E minus EC. E minus EC. Now see what I am going to do. I am going to replace this E with E minus EC. Okay. So instead of Z of E, it is Z of E minus EC. EC is a fixed level, right? Fixed energy level. The lowest level of connection band is a constant. It's a fixed energy value. Okay. So this entire expression I am going to rewrite. Z of E into dE is equal to 4 pi by h cube, 2m star raised to 3 by 2. This E becomes E minus EC. Replace E here with E minus EC. So you will get this expression. Z of E is dE is equal to 4 pi by h cube, 2m star raised to 3 by 2, E minus EC to the power of half into dE. Into dE. Why dE? D instead of E, I have to put E minus EC, right? DE is becoming D of E minus EC. So D minus DEC. DE obviously remains as DE. But derivative of EC is a fixed energy level. So derivative of a fixed number is, or derivative of a constant is 0. So entire thing D, it becomes D of E minus EC becomes DE. Okay. So I have rewritten the expression for Z of E dE, applying the kinetic energy of the free electrons. Okay. Now let's bring in the next one. That is our probability f of E. 1 by exponential E minus EF by KT plus 1, or another way I have written 1 by 1 plus exponential E minus EF by KT. That is your f of E. Now we are going to do a small approximation. At high energy levels, why high energy levels? In conduction band, all energy levels are above the Fermi energy levels, right? I am going to consider electrons which are there in the conduction band only. So all energy levels are above the Fermi energy level. Okay. So for that reason, what happens? E minus EF is a larger number. E minus EF is more than KT. E minus EF will be more than KT. At higher energy levels, E minus EF, that means every E is above EF in conduction band. Every energy level available for the free electron to sit in a conduction band is more than the Fermi energy level. So E minus EF is a larger quantity than KT. So what happens? I can write E minus EF by KT is much greater than 1. I just brought this KT to left hand side, so here it becomes 1. So E minus EF by KT is much greater than 1. If that is the situation, if E minus EF by KT is much greater, then this entire exponential is a greater value. This entire thing, if E minus EF by KT is larger, exponential value is also larger. That is obviously larger than 1. So I get an approximation that now I write this as f of E is approximately, this symbol is approximate, not equal to, it's approximately 1 by exponential E minus EF by KT. 1 by exponential E minus EF by KT. So let me just repeat, what did we do? We considered f of E, that is the probability of the electrons occupying. So 1 by exponential E minus EF by KT plus 1, or the other way, 1 by 1 plus exponential E minus EF by KT. Now next, all energy levels in conduction band are more than the Fermi energy level. So E minus EF is a larger value than KT, or E minus EF by KT is much greater than 1. So that reason, so E minus EF by KT is much larger. So exponential of E minus EF by KT is also larger. So obviously it is larger than 1. So for that reason I approximate it as 1 by exponential E minus EF by KT. My next task is obviously multiply this fellow with this, right? Or what is the initial expression? dn is equal to z of e d into f of e. So I have to multiply 3 with 5. Okay. So I am just going to rewrite this pi in another way. So 1 by exponential e minus ef by kt, I am going to rewrite it as exponential of minus of e minus ef by kt. This is just basic maths. 1 by exponential x is e power minus x, right? The same way I just rewritten that exponential minus of E minus EF by KT. So now I am going to multiply Z of E dE, that is expression number 3, and expression number 6, that is F of E, your more approximated F of E. Okay. So, okay, let me go back to the other one quickly. I will not take much time. Now delta, we are not taking delta. Delta means it is too small. Okay. All right. So I think we will continue in the next class. I had unfortunately closed that other file. So we'll continue this derivation in the next class. So please work out whatever we have done until now. I have